Welcome. My name is Litoro Charles Masika from School of Pure and Applied Science, taking Bachelor of Science Microbiology. So we were given here a question to discuss about morphological and physiological adaptation of ciliophora. So first, my group is group 24. So before I discuss the question about morphological and physiological adaptation of ciliophora, we can remember that ciliophora, they come from kingdom Protist. So first I want to introduce the whole topic. So I want to discuss about the 6 kingdom system. So we have 6 kingdom system, like what? We have the kingdom Archaebacteria, we have kingdom Eubacteria or kingdom Monera, we have kingdom Protist, we have kingdom Fungi, we have kingdom Plantae, and finally we have kingdom Animalia. So for example, if you are being asked to discuss characteristics of maybe kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia, kingdom Protist, or kingdom Archaebacteria, we shall consider the following factors. Factor number 1, we shall consider the cell type, e.g. if it is eukaryotic or prokaryotic. Number 2, we shall consider the cell wall, if it is made up of peptidoglycan layer or it is made up of cellulose or chitin. Number 3, we shall consider cell organization, if it is multicellular or unicellular. Then number 4, we shall consider the mode of nutrition, if it is autotrophic or heterotrophic. Then number 5, we shall consider the nuclear membrane, if it contains nuclear membrane or it lacks nuclear membrane. Then number 6, we shall consider reproduction, if it reproduces asexual or sexual. Then also we shall consider the shape, and also we shall consider the size. So those are factors that we are going to consider in order to distinguish characteristics of each kingdom. For example, ciliophora, it comes from kingdom Protist. How can we distinguish characteristics of kingdom Protist? Number 1, we have said that we shall consider the cell type. So the cell type, and the cell type, we are considering this kingdom as either eukaryotic or prokaryotic. For example, kingdom Protist, most of them, they are eukaryotic organisms. Then after there also we shall consider the cell organization. Is it multicellular or unicellular? Kingdom Protist, most of them, they are unicellular organisms. Then also we shall consider reproduction. Does it reproduce sexual or asexual? For example, kingdom Protist, they reproduce both asexual or asexual. So they can reproduce either asexual or sexual reproduction. Then also we shall consider the mode of nutrition, if it is autotrophic or heterotrophic. For example, kingdom Protist, they are either autotrophic or heterotrophic. Then after there we give examples of kingdom Protist. Examples of kingdom Protist, we have protozoan organism. For example, what are the characteristics of protozoan organism? Characteristics of protozoan organism, number 1, they are unicellular, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. Then number 2, characteristic of protozoan organism, they are mobile. Then another characteristics of protozoan organism, they are microscopic, meaning that they are small in size, and also they can reproduce either sexual or asexual, and most of them, they are eukaryotic. Then after there we have phylum under protozoan organism. So we have different types of protozoan phylum, around 9 of them. Number 1, we have phylum Sacrodina. Number 2, we have phylum Granuloreticulosa. Number 3, we have phylum Actinopoda. Number 4, we have phylum Ciliophora. Number 5, we have phylum Apicomlexa. Number 6, we have phylum Zooflagellata. And another name of phylum Zooflagellata is phylum Euglenod or phylum Zomastigina. Then we have phylum Dinoflagellates. Then we have phylum Choanoflagellate. And finally, we have phylum Microsporidia. So those are types of protozoan phylum. Then after there, we have what? After there now, we want to discuss each characteristic of phylum. For example, when we start with phylum Sacrodina, what are characteristics of phylum Sacrodina? So first, phylum Sacrodina, they have pseudopodia called lobopodia. What is the main essence of lobopodia? The main essence of lobopodia is for movement, and also it helps in feeding. So phylum Sacrodina, they have pseudopodia called lobopodia, which helps this organism in movement and also in terms of feeding. Then also phylum phylum Sacrodina, they capture their food or they capture their prey by phagocytosis. So they use phagocytosis to capture their food. Then after there, also phylum Sacrodina, so they have captured their food. Now, how do they digest this food? So phylum Sacrodina, they digest their food intracellularly. Then also phylum Sacrodina, they are a unicellular organism, meaning that they contain single-celled organism. And also phylum Sacrodina, they reproduce either sexual or asexual. After there, examples of this phylum Sacrodina, we have Amoeba proteus. Then after there, number 2, we have phylum Granuloreticulosa. So phylum Granuloreticulosa, it has two main words. We have there the word granule and we have there the word reticulate. So it means that phylum Granuloreticulosa, they have granules and finally they are reticulate. Also phylum Granuloreticulosa, they have pseudopodia called reticulopodia. What is the function of reticulopodia? Function of reticulopodia, it helps in movement and also it helps in feeding. Then also phylum Granuloreticulosa, they are either, now phylum Granuloreticulosa, they are either unicellular or multicellular. Remember we say that phylum Sacrodina, they are only unicellular, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. But phylum Granuloreticulosa, they are either unicellular or multicellular. Then also phylum Granuloreticulosa, they digest their food intracellularly. Then also phylum Granuloreticulosa, they can reproduce either sexual or asexual. Then number 3, we have phylum Actinopoda. Phylum Actinopoda, examples of phylum Actinopoda, we have Actinophyres. So Actinophyres, remember that we say that Actinophyres, this one, they are organisms that are, they come from, they have radial symmetry. So characteristic number 1 about phylum Actinopoda, they have radial symmetry. Then number 2 about phylum Actinopoda is that they have pseudopodia called axopodia. And what is the function of axopodia? Axopodia, this one, they help in what? They help in movement and also they help in feeding. Then also phylum Actinopoda, they are unicellular, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. Then also this phylum Actinopoda, they can reproduce either sexual or asexual. Then number 4, we have phylum Ciliophora. What are characteristics of phylum Ciliophora? First, phylum Ciliophora, they are grouped as alveolata. Why are we saying that they are grouped as alveolata? They are grouped as alveolata because of the presence of alveoli. Then also phylum Ciliophora, they do what? They have cilia. What is the essence of cilia? Cilia, they help in movement and also they help this organism in feeding. And also phylum Ciliophora, they are commonly called ciliates. Then also phylum Ciliophora, they are unicellular, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. Then phylum Ciliophora, they exhibit dimorphism. Why are we saying that they exhibit dimorphism? Because they contain large macronuclei and small micronuclei. What are the functions of small micronuclei? Small micronuclei, this one, they help in sexual reproduction, and large macronuclei, they help in growth of cell. Then after there, also phylum Ciliophora, they can respire aerobically or anaerobically depending on the availability of oxygen. Next, we have phylum Apicomplexa. What are the characteristics of phylum Apicomplexa? First, phylum Apicomplexa, they come from two words. They have two words. That is apical complex and the word complex. So it means that phylum Apicomplexa, they have apical complex and also they have complex life cycle. Then also phylum Apicomplexa, all of them, they are parasites. Then phylum Apicomplexa, they are a unicellular organism, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. Then phylum Apicomplexa, they lack what? They lack flagella. Okay, remember that phylum Apicomplexa, they use their gliding motion in order to capture food and also in terms of their movement. So they glide. Then also phylum Apicomplexa, we have examples like what? Examples like Plasmodium or malaria parasites, and also we have clade alveolata. Then after there we have phylum Zooflagellata. So the other name of phylum Zooflagellata, it is called phylum Euglenoid or phylum Zoomastigina. What are characteristics of phylum Zooflagellata? Phylum Zooflagellata, number one, they contain more than one flagella, and the essence of this flagella, it helps in movement and also it helps in feeding. Phylum Zooflagellata, they are unicellular, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. Phylum Zooflagellata, also they digest their food intracellularly. Phylum Zooflagellata, they can reproduce either sexual or asexual. Next, we have phylum Dinoflagellate. What are characteristics of phylum Dinoflagellate? Phylum Dinoflagellate, they have two flagella. What is the essence of two flagella? The two flagella, they help in movement and also they help in feeding. Also, phylum Dinoflagellate, they are a unicellular organism, meaning they contain only single-celled organism. Also, phylum Dinoflagellate, they can reproduce either sexual or asexual. Next, we have phylum Choanoflagellate. Phylum Choanoflagellate, they are filter feeders. And also phylum Choanoflagellate, they can reproduce either sexual or asexual. And also phylum Choanoflagellate, they are unicellular organism, meaning that they contain only single-celled organism. Okay, then phylum Choanoflagellate, they have unique nucleus and cytoplasm. Next, we have phylum Microsporidia. Phylum Microsporidia, this one, they are parasites. And also phylum Microsporidia, they lack flagella. Then they have plastids. Okay, then they lack mitochondria. So those are characteristics of each phylum of protozoan. First, we have said that we have 9 types of protozoan phylum. We have said that we have phylum Sacrodina, we have phylum Granulo-reticulosa, we have phylum Actinopoda, we have phylum Ciliophora, we have phylum Apicomplexa, we have phylum Zooflagellata or Euglenoid or Zoomastigina, then we have phylum Dinoflagellata, we have phylum Choanoflagellate, and finally we have phylum Microsporidia. Remember, we say that we have only 3 types of phylum that have pseudopodia. These 3 types of phylum that have pseudopodia, we have phylum Sacrodina, which uses lobopodia, and we have phylum Granulo-reticulosa, which uses reticulopodia, and we have phylum Actinopoda, which has axopodia. What are the function of this pseudopodia? The function of this pseudopodia, they help in movement and also they help in feeding. Then, what about the movement of phylum Ciliophora? The movement of phylum Ciliophora, we say that they use cilia in terms of their movement, and also we say what is the movement of phylum Apicomplexa? They move by gliding. Then Zooflagellata, Dinoflagellata, and Choanoflagellate, this one, they use flagella in movement. Then after there, we need to ask ourselves some questions about this topic. So, what are the locomotion mechanism of protozoan organism? So, locomotion mechanism of protozoan organism, we can see that protozoan organism, they use pseudopodia. So, examples of organisms that use pseudopodia, we have Sacrodina organisms, we have Granulo-reticulosa organisms, then we have Actinopoda organisms. So they use their pseudopodia in terms of movement. Then also presence of cilia. Which organism have cilia? The organism that have cilia, we have ciliophora organism. They use their cilia in terms of movement. Also, we have presence of flagella. Presence of flagella is in Zoomastigina, Dinoflagellate, and Choanoflagellate. They use their flagella in movement. Okay, so that is That is the locomotion mechanism of protozoan organism. Then, what are the protective mechanism of protozoan organism? The protective mechanism of protozoan organism, number one, we have the presence of cyst. Presence of cysts, this one is a tough dormant that enable protozoan organism to withstand harsh condition environment. Then we have the presence of flagella. Flagella, they will help protozoan organism to run out of danger. Then also symbiotic relationship. We have protozoan organism that act symbiotically with other organisms, and this enable them to fight their enemies. Then also we have some protozoan organism which produces toxin, and this toxin, they may be harmful to other organisms. Then also we have enzyme production. We have other protozoan organism that produces enzyme, and this enzyme, it enables protozoan organism to evade the host immune cell. So that is the protective mechanism of protozoan organism. Then physiological adaptation of protozoan organism. The physiological adaptation of protozoan organism, we have presence of contractile vacuole. What is the essence of contractile vacuole? Contractile vacuole, this one, it helps in osmoregulatory process, and also it helps organism to withstand harsh condition environment. Then we have presence of ciliopodia. Presence of ciliopodia like reticulopodia, lobopodia, and axopodia. They help protozoan organism in terms of movement. Then we have presence of cilia and presence of flagella. Also, they help protozoan organism in movement. Okay. Then we have dimorphism. Dimorphism, I can use examples of ciliophora. For example, ciliophora, they have large macronuclei and small micronuclei, and this one, they help in sexual reproduction. So those are some of the physiological adaptation of protozoan organism. Then what are the economical importance of protozoan organism? So protozoan organism, they act as aquatic primary producer. Then they help in the composition of waste product, and also they act as food source to zooplankton algae. And also a protozoan organism, they help in production of what? Production of medicine. Okay, so those are some of the importance of protozoan organism. So next we shall discuss about morphological and physiological adaptation of ciliophora. Thank you.
Applied science, I take a course in Bachelor of Science Microbiology. We were taken in a question of morphological and physiological adaptations of ciliophora, as a phylum in kingdom Protista. So an example of ciliophora is Paramecium. Paramecium, it is a bell-known ciliate that is found in freshwater habitats. It has a slipper-shaped body, cilia arranged in rows, and has a contractile vacuole. For example, the structure of Paramecium, we start with the pellicle. Also, we have a contractile vacuole, a radiating canal, a cilia, a leukocyte, an oral groove, a micronucleus. Also, we have micro and macro, anal pole, cell mouth, gullet, food vacuole, ectoplasm, and endoplasm. So, the morphological adaptations. Number one, we have presence of cilia. Cilia are hair-like organelles that are used for locomotion and feeding. They can be arranged in various patterns such as rows, tabs, and spirals. Also, we have the presence of cytoskeleton. Ciliophora have a complex cytoskeleton that provides structural support and helps to coordinate cilia movement. Also, we have presence of contractile vacuole. The main function of contractile vacuole is that it helps in regulate water balance in ciliophorans. Also, we have the process of sensory organs. Ciliophorans have a variety of sensory organs that help them to detect light, touch, and chemicals also. Also, we have presence of dimorphism. Dimorphism simply means the two types of nuclei. A large one called the macronuclei and that controls the cell function, and a small micronuclei that is involved in sexual reproduction. Also, the ciliophorans form cysts. These cysts, they are dormant stages. In dormant stages, they can survive in harsh conditions. Also, we have the chemosensory behaviors. They exhibit chemosensory behaviors. Some ciliophorans can detect and respond to chemicals traps in their environment. The physiological ones, the ciliophorans exhibit a wide range of physiological adaptations, include filter feeding and many others.
Bachelor of Science in Biotechnology. I'm a group member of group number 24. I want to take you through the physiological adaptations of ciliophora. Ciliophora exhibit a wide range of physiological adaptation, and the following as follows. Number one, we have filter feeding. Some ciliophorans are filter feeders, meaning they use cilia to create a current of water that brings food particles to their oral structures. For example, paramecium, stenta, and tetrahymena. Number two, predatory feeding. Some ciliophorans are predators, meaning they capture and consume some organisms like collepts and didinium. Number three, osmoregulation. Ciliophorans have a variety of mechanisms for regulating their water balance, such as contractile vacuole and the ion pumps. Number four, excretion. Ciliophorans create waste products through their cell membrane. Excrete waste products through their cell membranes. Number five, we have the respiration. Ciliophorans can respire aerobically or anaerobically depending on the availability of oxygen. Number six, we have nutrient uptake. Ciliophorans
can take up nutrients from their environment through their cell membrane. The other one is about reproduction. Ciliophora can reproduce both sexually or asexually. Next one is about stress response. Ciliophora have a variety of mechanisms for responding to environmental stress, such as enso systems and can change in gene expression. The other one is about symbiosis. Some ciliophora have symbiotic relationship throughout their organism, such as algae or bacteria. Parasitism. Some ciliophora are parasitic, meaning they live on other organisms and can cause harm to them, e.g. Baladium coli, and Cilodena. The other one is about carnivory. Some ciliophora feed on animals such as cerops.
So my name is Litoro Charles Masika. So I want to make a summary of what we have learned, that is morphological and physiological adaptation of ciliophora. First of all, on my manila chart paper, I have different diagrams of ciliates where I have paramecium ciliates. Also, I have tetrahymena ciliates, I have the standard ciliates, Vorticella ciliates, and finally, I have the Balantidium ciliates. So maybe I can start with paramecium ciliates. As you can see my paramecium ciliates, I have different parts of paramecium where I have the pellicle, I have the contractile vacuole, I have the radiating canal, I have the cilia, I have the trichocyst, I have the oral groove, then I have the micronucleus, macronucleus, cell mouth, gullet, anal pore, food vacuole, forming ectoplast, finally endoplast. So those are my parts of paramecium ciliates. So maybe I can describe some of the parts of paramecium ciliates and their function. For example, when I start with the pellicle, as we were introducing ciliophora organism, we are saying that ciliophora organism, they are grouped as alveolate. Okay, why are we saying that ciliophora, they are grouped as alveolate? Because of the presence of alveoli, which are sacs that form pellicles. So pellicles, these are they are grouped as alveolates because ciliophorans, they have the presence of alveoli, which are sacs that form pellicle. Then we have the trichocyst. So trichocyst, this one, it helps in prey capture, and also it helps in defense, and also in terms of anchorage. So trichocyst, it has three functions. Function number one, we have the prey capture. Then function number two, we have the defense. Then number three, we have anchorage. Okay. Then also we can remember another characteristic of ciliophoran organism. We say that it has an external cap for protection, and this external cap is called lorica. So it has an external cap for protection, which is called lorica. Also, ciliophoran organism, they exhibit different types of dimorphism. So we have macronuclear and micronuclear. So cilioforan organism, they have two types of nucleus, where we have the macronuclear and we have the micronuclear. So large macronuclear, this one, it controls the cell growth and metabolism, and small micronuclear, it involves in sexual reproduction. Then we have the presence of contractile vacuole. As you can see, I have contractile vacuole, which regulates the water imbalance, or it helps in osmoregulation purpose. Okay, so those are some of the parts of paramecium ciliates. Then also I have the tetrahymena ciliates. So my diagram for tetrahymena ciliates, this is my diagram for tetrahymena ciliates. So tetrahymena ciliates, it has the callium, it has the ciliary row, cytopract, contractile vacuole, then also it has the food vacuole, it has the basal body, it has the micronuclear, and it has the macronuclear. So tetrahymena ciliate, this one is a ciliate that is found in freshwater habitat, and it has spherical body, cilia arranged in tuft, and macronucleus also, they are present in tetrahymena, where we say that macronuclear, this one, it involves, macronuclear, it controls the cell growth and metabolism. Okay, then also it has so many types of species, that is tetrahymena ciliates. So first, tetrahymena ciliates, they are grouped as spherical, and also it has macronuclear, and also it has the contractile vacuole and the presence of cilia. Then next, we have the standard ciliates. This one is a large ciliate that is found in freshwater habitat, and it has a trumpet-shaped body, cilia arranged in spiral, and the contractile vacuole also is found in the standard ciliates. And here I have the diagram for standard ciliates. So standard ciliates, this one, first it appears as what? It appears as a trumpet, okay? It appears as a trumpet. So this is my diagram for standard ciliates. I have the anterior, we have the posterior, we have the membranous band, we have the oral pouch, we have the contractile vacuole, we have the locus of strip contrast, we have the holdfast, and finally we have the nucleus. Okay, so the standard ciliates, this one, it is a large ciliate that is found in freshwater habitat, and it has a trumpet-shaped body, and their cilia is arranged in spiral, and also it has contractile vacuole which helps in osmoregulation purpose. Then next type of ciliate organism, we have Vorticella ciliates. And Vorticella ciliates, this one is a stalked ciliate that is found in freshwater habitat, and it has a bell-shaped body, cilia arranged in circle around the oral opening, and a contractile vacuole that is located in the stalk. So for example, here is my Vorticella ciliates. As you can see, my Vorticella ciliates, it resembles a bell shape. Okay, so I have the cilia, I have the peristome, I have the foot vacuole, I have the cuticle, contractile vacuole, zooid, I have the stalk, I have the macronuclear, micronuclear, gullet, mouth, and also I have the myon. Okay, so Vorticella ciliate, this one, it's a stalked ciliate that is found in freshwater habitat, and it has a bell-shaped body, cilia arranged in circle around the oral opening, and also the presence of contractile vacuole which helps in osmoregulation process. Okay, then finally we have the Balantidium ciliates. Balantidium ciliates, this one is a parasitic ciliates like the Balantidium coli. Okay, so it's a parasitic ciliates that is found in the intestine of human and other animals, and it has an oval shaped body, cilia arranged in rows and large macronucleus. So those are some of the examples of that is ciliophoran organisms, or examples of ciliate organism. So from my examples, I can have different types of morphological adaptation of cilioforan organism. For example, we have the presence of cilia in paramecium organism. What is the essence of cilia? Cilia, this one, it helps in movement, and also it helps in terms of feeding. Okay, then also, as you can see, my paramecium, it has two types of contractile vacuole, isn't it? It has two types of contractile vacuole. So contractile vacuole, this one, it helps in osmoregulation process. The meaning of osmoregulation process, we just mean that cilioforan organism, contractile vacuole, this one, it regulates the movement of water into the cell, or it regulates the water imbalance. Okay, then after them, also we have the oral structure. Okay, ciliophorans, they have a variety of oral structure, such as cilia, membranous, and annulating membranes that are used to capture food particles. So ciliophorans organism, they capture food particles by using their membranels, or by using undulating membranes, or by using their cilia. Okay, then also we have the body shape. So I have said that a Trahymena, it has spherical body shape, then standard ciliates, trumpet shape, then we have Vorticella ciliate, which is circle, and we have the Balantidium ciliates. Okay, so I have described different shapes of ciliates organism, or ciliophorans organisms, where it is one of the morphological adaptation of ciliophorans organism, where ciliophorans, they come in a variety of shapes, including spherical, oval, elongated, and trumpet shapes, and their shape is often related to their lifestyle and habitat. Okay, then we have the presence of cytoskeleton. So ciliophorans, they have complex cytoskeleton, and what is the purpose of cytoskeleton? It provides structural support, and also it helps to coordinate cilia movement. So it helps in coordination of the cilia movement. Then we have the presence of sensory organs. So ciliophorans organisms, they have a variety of sensory organelles that help them to detect light, and also helps them to, in terms of touch, and also in terms of detecting chemicals. Then we have presence of nuclear dimorphism. As I've said, that ciliophorans organism, they have two types of nucleus, that is a large macronuclear and small micronuclear. And the function of large macronuclear, it controls the cell growth and metabolism, and small micronuclear, it involves in sexual reproduction. Okay, then we have some ciliophorans organism, they can form cysts, and the function of cyst, this one is a tough dormant that enables ciliophorans organism to survive in harsh environmental conditions. Okay, So those are some of the morphological adaptation of ciliophorans organism. Then we have the physiological adaptation of ciliophorans organism. We say that some ciliophorans organism, they are filter feeders, meaning that they use cilia to create a current of water that brings food particles to their oral structure. And examples of these filter feeders ciliates, we have paramecium ciliates, we have the Vorticella ciliates, we have the standard ciliates, and finally we have tetrahymena ciliates. Okay. Then we have the predatory feeding. So some ciliophorans organisms, they are predators, meaning they capture and consume other organisms. For example, we have Dilepta ciliates, we have Lycomaria ciliates, we have the Coleb ciliates, and we have the Didinium ciliates. Then we have osmoregulation purpose. Okay, ciliophorans, they have a variety of mechanism for regulating their water balance, such as contractile vacuole and ion pumps. Then we have excretion. Ciliophorans, they excrete their waste product through their cell membrane. Then we have the respiration. Ciliophorans, they can respire aerobically or anaerobically depending on the availability of oxygen. Then also ciliophorans, they can take up nutrients from the environment through their cell membrane. And ciliophorans organisms, they have a variety of digestive enzymes that allow them to break down food particles. And ciliophorans organisms also, they can reproduce either sexual or asexual. Then also ciliophorans organisms, they have a variety of mechanisms for responding to the environmental stress, such as encystment and changes in gene expression. Okay. Then finally we have some ciliophorans organisms which are parasites, meaning they live in or on other organisms and cause them harm. E.g., we have the Balantidium coli, we have the Echinodenella ciliates, and we have the Cryptocaryon ciliates. Okay. So those are some of the morphological those are some of the physiological adaptation of ciliophorans organisms. So under physiological adaptation of ciliophorans organism, remember about filter feeding, remember about the predatory feeding, osmoregulation, excretion, respiration, nutrient uptake, digestion, reproduction, stress tolerance. Okay. Then under morphological adaptation, remember about the body shape, remember about presence of cilia, remember about the presence of cytoskeleton, presence of contractile vacuole, presence of sensory organs, nuclear dimorphism, cyst formation, and also remember about anaerobic metabolism, and also remember about the chemosensory behavior.